Is Bilkis Bano closer to getting justice as she would like to see it? The Supreme Court has today issued notice to the Gujarat government seeking its response on a plea challenging the remission of 11 convicts in the gang rape of Bilkis Bano during the Gujarat riots in 2002. Petitioners have said that it restored their faith in judiciary.
I think we have faith in the judiciary, which is why we have gone to the judiciary. That is evident. And I think beyond just this case, I think each of us as people who live in India and as people who are Indians need to ask ourselves this question. Are we okay with the way this executive is saying one thing and doing another? Are we going to forget about what they've done depending on what the court says? It's not just about Bilkis Bano, it is about the executive overreach, and that is a question that should concern us.
I think that altogether, whatever has happened in court today is, I think, a step in the direction of accessing justice. They did not follow certain norms. They did not consult with the judge who had given the judgment in the first place. They also didn't, I think, consult with the central government. We have not got any information whether they did. And in fact, their whole order has also not been made public. I am actually grateful that the Supreme Court did seem to take some of these points on board, and it did not throw this petition out, but said that notice will be issued. And we also agreed that the 11 who were convicted, they will also be served notice.
And as wheels of justice move again, support for Bilkis came from supposedly unexpected quarters. BJP leader Khushbu Sundar took to Twitter and called the release an insult to mankind, demanding that they be jailed immediately. But the opposition is not impressed. Some, like Asaduddin Owaisi, deemed it hypocrisy and shedding of crocodile tears. So what prompted the outburst? Were there political or personal reasons behind it? To answer those questions, we are now joined by Khushbu herself. Petitioners have approached the Supreme Court, which has in turn issued notice to the Gujarat government on the remission granted to the accused as far as the Bilkis Bano case is concerned. Not only were they released on remission, but they were also felicitated. To talk about this, and someone who's been quite outspoken throughout her political journey, we have with us Khushbu. Thank you so much, Khushbu ji, for joining us here on Times Now. And let me begin by asking you, you're one of the few people in the BJP who was actually so outspoken and spoke so strongly about this. What prompted you to speak out?
What prompted me to speak about it? I think it's basically me being a mother. I'm a mother to a 22-year-old and a 19-year-old, and I don't want my children to turn back and look at me in disgrace and say, what did you do? My daughters didn't ask me to speak up, but the moment I speak, they hug and they said, thank you, Amma. And that said it all. Probably they were waiting for me to react. And I know very well that today, if I don't stand up for another woman, another mother, my own children probably may not respect me as they do, and they might lose their faith in me as a mother, as a woman, and as a politician. So I had to speak up because this is something I have been following, and I was completely appalled at the way they were welcomed. And after a very long time, I had sleepless nights. I couldn't sleep well because the images were in front of me. And I could relate to it, and I said I have to speak, cutting across the political lines. But I have always been very, very vocal about what I think is right, irrespective of the party I belong to in the past. I have always been very, very vocal. If I feel that I need to speak, I have voiced my opinions.
Right. But Ms. Khushbu, many in your party have not spoken with the kind of clarity and conviction that you have spoken about. Even Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, when he spoke, he's spoken about the problem with felicitating these convicts, not so much about the remission itself, because he says that that's happened as per the legal procedures. Now, today you have welcomed what the Supreme Court has done in terms of issuing notice to the Gujarat government. Do you think that the Gujarat government will reconsider the decision of the remission panel in your view?
See, it's basically, it works. People say this has nothing to do with judiciary, but the remission works on the petition that has been filed by a few people in Gujarat. It goes to and we have seen this, it goes to the government, the state government, and they take a call. You have a panel there again who decides. Not that it's the decision taken by one person. There are pros and cons are weighed, and we have seen this what happened in Tamil Nadu also after Perarivalan was given a remission despite being accused of being part of the conspiracy that killed our very own Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi ji. So he was given a remission, and that was welcomed. After 26 or 27 long years, it was welcomed. I'm saying it's a decision taken by the state government. And yes, there is law involved. So people say there's absolutely no law involved. I think they need to really, really work hard and think that how the law is involved here. I am glad that Supreme Court has taken up and they have actually asked the state government of Gujarat to look into this and relook into the remission order which has been given. I think I'm not the right person to speak about laws here because I don't hold a law degree. My understanding and my ability to look into law is like any other common person who is not at all related with law and the orders of the country. I think I don't understand, or my understanding is exactly of that someone else watching this program.
Right.
But I feel that as a person, as an Indian, as a woman, I think what happened is absolutely wrong. And I speak as a woman of this country. And why I so strongly felt about it is I could feel the pain of Bilkis Bano. I could feel the pain of a mother. I could feel what it is for a woman to go through something like this. And that is when I thought that I had to speak.
Right. Ma'am, many within the opposition have been very quick to point out that all of this happened, this remission happened at a time when the Prime Minister was actually in his Independence Day speech speaking about Nari Shakti. So do you think that this is, to that extent, some kind of an embarrassment also? Because on the one hand, Nari Shakti is being spoken about. On the other hand, these convicted rapists are being released on remission.
No, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about for the Prime Minister. He spoke from a platform, and we have seen that how in the country women have been given every opportunity to empower themselves. Prime Minister has been very, very focused on Nari Shakti, on Beti Bachao Andolan, and he will always be positive when it comes to women of this country. Whether he's going to speak or not, I'm not the person to tell you that, whether he's going to speak on this issue. But I'm sure that he's aware of what is happening. And what decision has to be taken by the law. I don't think the Prime Minister has to intervene and send a word to the state government and say, because he's the Prime Minister, he's not going to do it. The state have their own law and orders, and they're going to look into it. And that's why we have an independent body like Supreme Court, CJI interfering and saying that this needs to be re-looked into it. I don't think the Prime Minister needs to speak. It's just the opposition. They have something to say. So the best bait for them is to blame the Prime Minister. The hate towards our Prime Minister is so large in their hearts that they don't even realize what they're speaking, but it just continues to pour out. And the message that they're sending across is absolutely wrong. Rather than saying that we are going to stand with, because I have spoken, there are a few others who have spoken. I want other people to speak up. I want people from across political line. I want people from different political parties. When they speak about every damn thing, and you have some people sitting in the parliament and talking about the price rise and, eating kacha baingan and talking about it. Where are those women on the streets? Why are they not? If you want to speak to me as a politician, I would say there were people who were suspended from the opposition party, the MPs. They were sitting down and singing Jana Gana Mana, disrespecting our national anthem, sitting on the stairs and singing. I said, where are they? Why are they not protesting outside the parliament? Why are they keeping mum? Why are they just busy blaming the Prime Minister for this, saying that this is where the Prime Minister is failing? No. Why are you not speaking? Why are you moving away from the actual problem? Why are you not showing your support, your care, your solidarity, your unity towards a woman of this country, towards a daughter of this country? Why are you not doing that? And that is what is upsetting me.
Absolutely. No, certainly, of course, any attempt to build consensus on issues or where there should be no political divisions is certainly, of course, a very laudable intention, Khushbu ji. But I want to ask you, Ms. Khushbu, or the many who are pointing out that this remission panel itself had at least 2 MLAs of the BJP and some other leaders of the BJP as as well, and therefore can your party completely distance from this decision? Because some of them have gone to the extent of even justifying it, saying that the accused were sanskari, they were Brahmins, so on and so forth. How do you see these kind of shocking statements that have come in from members of the remission panel?
No, I think tomorrow somebody from your family or my family are accused, we would stand by them and say that whatever happened is wrong. There was absolutely nothing wrong done by my family members. So I think they are speaking in that context. But we know those people were convicted. They were not just accused, they were convicted. 11 of them were convicted by the Supreme Court of India. And I'm sure the cases ran for long. All the details were looked into it. And that is when, the Supreme Court came up with a verdict, with a final judgment saying that these 11 men are guilty and they should be convicted, and they were punished. So whether you're punished or not, every family member would feel that my family member is innocent, and that is in that context they have spoken. So I'm not going to bring in politics here. I'm going to speak away from politics. I know when I took a stance, I didn't take a stance as a political figure, as a political leader, as a part of a political party. It has spiraled into me being in BJP. Fine, but I think I took a very strong stand as a woman, as someone who wants to give a very, very safe and a very protective future to the girls of this country tomorrow. My own daughters, I want them to feel safe. I don't want them to lose hope in our judiciary system, in our law and order, in our government. I don't want them to lose hope in politics. I don't want them to lose hope in the country as such. And that is when I spoke, because this is the kind of a future I want to give to my children and the other young girls of this country. And I say that no, India is still the best country to live in. And that is the faith and that is the hope I want to give them. And that is why I spoke what I had to say.
Right. Ma'am, in your bid to build this, cutting across party lines consensus, would you also appeal to ministers who have not yet spoken? For instance, the Home Minister, who incidentally hails from Gujarat, the Women and Child Minister, Development Minister, also has not spoken on this issue. Would you appeal to them to also come out and send out the kind of message that you are wanting to send out with these statements?
I am no one to send out a statement. Everybody needs to take a stand on their own. They have to feel personally. They have to feel strongly about what has happened is something called injustice. I don't want to go across to my political people and say that please speak. No, everybody needs to feel. When I say people across the political line, I also mean to the women from my parties also. I want every woman to speak who feels strongly. I would love to see strong women from my political party speaking on this issue. I would love to see strong women from different political fields to speak on this issue very strongly about it. Because I want, as women, we to come together collectively and build a momentum and say what happened to Bilkis Bano will be the last episode of this country where something like this, a woman had to go through. Nothing more of this sort should be happening again. Nobody needs to go through this kind of a pain or this kind of, rape is something which stays with you. And that's what I very categorically stated in my tweet, saying that it scars your soul for life. It definitely does. And I don't want another woman to go through that. I want the laws of a country. If given an opportunity today, I would urge the law and order of this country to change, to bring in a change where no other woman, there have to be very, very strict laws where anyone who touches a woman without her consent needs to be put behind bars, probably, given the capital punishment. A fear needs to be installed in these men who commit this kind of a crime. Fear. There's no fear for law and order in a country. Very, very unfortunately. I want that fear to be installed in them. I want people to think twice before even looking up at a woman differently, or forget even touching her, but even looking up at a woman very differently in a very sleazy manner. I just want the law and orders to be put in place. And I very strongly feel as a woman that no other woman should go through what Bilkis Bano went through. That's it.
Right. Ma'am, my last question to you is this. At the end of the day, we've all seen those shocking pictures of the felicitation of those convicts. Now, there are allegations that, certain members of the VHP, like one Mr. Arvind Sisodia apparently was part of that. Now, whichever be the organization, the felicitation of people who have been convicted of this heinous crime really shocks the conscience. And I think it has shaken the conscience of this nation. But the fact is, it did happen. What needs to be done to even change this kind of mindset?
It did shock me. It did appall me. It did shock me. It did send a spine down my, chill down my spine. It did. I'm not going to deny that. And I was like, what the hell is happening? This is not the way to do it. And that is what our Deputy CM of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis ji, has also spoken about it. But like I said, they think it's part of the family, and Boluk Sanskari The is what they feel. But there's law which had taken its course, and I want law to step in and take its course again, but faster and quicker. We can't let this moment go for months together. I want law and order to be stepped up, and I want the justice to be given as fast as possible.
Khusbhbu Sundar, thank you so much for joining us and speaking so candidly, telling us about your own personal experiences and, of course, appealing for justice for Bilkis Bano, and in the process also appealing across political lines that on such issues at least there should be consensus and no politics. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.